Hello there, YouTube. We are back with some more Matchplay commentary. I'm joined by Quackity McQuack, Kaiju Master TJ. We are here with some more Matchplay from Sully's Abode, which is the locals that we go to every Thursday. Great shop, a lot of locals, great scene for multiple card games. So if you're looking for a nice place to chill, you're in the Chicagoland area, hit them up. They're in Bolingbrook, Illinois. I'll drop their TCG player link down in the video description below, which will also have our socials, which will be in the link tree. It contains our Discord, our Twitter, our Instagram, as well as our YouTube and TCG player affiliates. The Discord's a great place just to kind of get to know us, talk about Digi, and kind of, if you're looking for deck lists, which I know a lot of you are, the decks that we personally run, we will try to drop the list as you comment. But if you're looking for these specific deck lists of people that may not, we don't have the list for, just check out the Discord. They're usually there. If not, you can always like ping them and they'll try and drop them for you. But here we do have Justin playing WarGrey, and we've got Cooper on the right playing WarGrey. So we got a pretty nice mirror for you guys. WarGrey is a deck that, never really truly goes away. It's always there in some form, in some degree. I do personally think we're going to see a resurgence of WarGrey come BT-16, just because it is one way to deal with Magna, potentially, just by slapping it in the face. Yeah. But, it still does struggle from typical WarGrey things, which is mainly just consistency at times. So do expect to see it. I think this will be a decent mirror. Both are really good players, and I think Cooper's been doing really, really well with WarGrey at locals. And Justin, we saw him play Red Hybrid last week. WarGrey is his main deck, and he's really good with it as well. So it should be a good match to watch. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and let's hop right into it.
All right. I have the most important question in your life right now.
What's it?
Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, God.
Lilithmon, Venusmon, Mervamon.
I'm
Go.
getting married in like 3 months, right?
Okay.
But to answer your question,
I was gonna turn it on myself. That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna just be like, all right, TJ.
I would say, Venus. I'm always partial to Venus because she's a yellow. She's yellow,
Sure.
but she's also blind.
Well, yeah.
Getting some
I don't know.
kind of
Where are we going? Where are we going with
there,
this? Where are we going with this? I don't know.
Speaking of that, though, do check out the Heroine set that Bandai is dropping. Pretty good set. They do have a lot of I wouldn't say key cards. I think the only real staple cards are Venus, Lilith, and probably if you're a Cross stan or a Merva stan, Merva. Otherwise, the Tamers are sort of mid, if I'm going to be honest with you. But it is up on Premium Bandai. I think Wave 2 is going to be up there, so check it out. And that was my kind of cheeky way to get around that question.
Sure. Fuck Lilith, marry Venus, kill Merva. That's my answer.
How dare you?
I'm just saying, man. Anyways, let's move on.
Oh boy. Well, we see Justin do WarGrey things, which is just build a big ass stack in the back. Cooper unfortunately was bricking turn 1, so just had to straight up pass, which is rough.
Ooh.
And then we see him have to just go into Gray X. What's up?
No, they didn't. I thought they both saw the one. I was really confused for a second.
Oh, no. And then Justin plays out an Agu X just to search, picks up the security check WarGreymon, which is always really good gas for this deck. Potentially giving your stack 3-4 checks is absolutely bonkers. And it looks like
No, go ahead.
It just looks like, unfortunately, Coop is just a little short of pieces right now.
Yeah. This matchup definitely comes down to who. So it's sort of a weird thing, right? Because you have to be careful about if you push up first, because you know the clapback's gonna come.
Yeah.
So it almost becomes very much like a game state of where you want to be building a stack on board while building a stack in the back. And force your opponent to answer you, and whoever can do that better first is usually going to be the one that
which is sort of what we see Justin doing here. For those of you who can't see, sorry for the glare on this one. Coop does have a Altarius mode, I believe, in the back and raising, which is not an ideal stack at all for Wargrey, but at least it is a level 5, which is something at least right now. My anticipation is that if he does have a rookie, you just push the stack up, do something with it, and then like try to start building again. Because you definitely don't want that stack to be like your one big play stack. Okay. We do search. We do pick up a Metal Gray X-Antibody, which could be something at least here. And does choke Justin a 1. He does have the training and the tie. Yeah.
Yeah, the issue is if Coop pushes up, I think he just loses the game.
Yeah. Especially with that raid Metal Gray.
Yeah, so Justin pushes up first.
Which is the mistake I made at regionals when I was not finding my pieces, just left bodies on board for Wargrey to do their raid piercing plays and check for 3 checks. And I'm like, oh dear.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go Metal Gray X. He's debating.
Maybe not. Goes into Altarius
we'll
to pop the Agu.
First.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taps tie, gains now, goes into Metal Gray X, which is probably the better play. This Metal Gray will have plus 3k DP, will have 2 checks because of its own effect.
He's even bigger than that, technically.
Yeah, he's plus 3k, plus 2k from the Agu, and then plus 1 from the Gray.
And he's running the old cores, which is plus 1 as well.
So he's a big guy.
3, 5, 6, 7, so he's 15k.
Okay.
Training, Evo.
So now he's 18k for 3 checks. No options. Yep, we do go ahead and swing. No options go off, so training unfortunately goes to the wayside for Coop. And I mean, right there and then, I mean, you already have him down to 1 security. And you've got a big body on board. You've got the Agu X, which can just chip away at that. It does die, but unless Cooper can respond to the stack,
which is hard to do. He has no training. He's no memory setter.
Yeah, and as long as as long as Justin can choke, we've got the plus 2k buff from the ties as well. So he's gonna be sitting at a pretty 16k.
15, yeah.
Or 17k because the Greymon is all turns. So
yeah.
Okay, so we see Coop do that. So he's got plus 1 from the tie, plus 3 from the Metal Gray X effect. Unfortunately, nothing from inheritables, so he's only at 12 right now. He needs to get bigger. Goes into the raid Wargrey, so is he big enough?
Plus 3, so he's 18. 15, so he's he's 1k bigger.
1k bigger. There you go.
Draws 1. It doesn't get any piercing, so no checks off of that swing. Hard drops the tie. I mean, at this point, all Justin has to do is just build another stack and then just wait for Cooper to have his body leave his body suspended. It's a hard game to call back for Coop. Yeah,
because right now, you know, you can't do any aggression because you want your stack to stay unsuspended to be a blocker next turn. There's nothing in raising right now, so he's gonna have to burn a turn building up another stack. As long as he can, you know, if he can effectively choke, that's still rough because Justin's got the 2 ties on board from BT-12, which will give him that memory right back.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a rough spot for Coop.
So Cooper's thinking right now.
This is where you run Zubagon Punch.
The other issue too is that Justin will swing, redirect, and then unsuspend. So even if Coop blocks, it still dies, and then he still just swings again for game.
Right.
So his Wargrey needs to be big. Oh, okay. So we go Wargrey X. Interesting.
Well, I mean, I guess it's fair. I mean, you swing for the 2 checks, you go up in memory, but then you lose your body, though. It's a bit rough. Unless there's a way that Coop can game this to go for game, I'm not really seeing where we go from here.
Yeah, blocker. I mean, if he... It's only 2 checks right now. It's not going to unsuspend. He'll swing the 2 checks.
Oh, no. Oh no.
And then a Hades Force. Shed protections, gain 2 memory.
Yeah, this
Cooper's
is rough.
thinking about what to do.
Okay, so Blitz Omni.
To unsuspend.
Unsuspend. You would still... You don't gain the +1 check anymore, right? Because Ty needs it to be a red Digimon.
It has to be a red Digimon.
I mean, I guess maybe you could consider like Omni, go into Omni X, but even then you still don't have block or anything. So yeah, he just decides to scoop. We move on to game 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a hard spot to come back from. You know, the mirror is also very much decided by who just doesn't break.
Yeah.
Who sees the pieces first, right?
And I think you bring up a very good point too. You know, it's not just always about like, let me unga boonga and let me go for it. Like, especially like you said with the mirror, you kind of want to make sure that you don't feed into your own game plan, which is like just float a body, have something to swing into with a big number, and have piercing.
Yeah.
Because then not only do you lose your stack, you give your opponent ability to either drop ties, drop tamers, pierce through for multiple checks, and it just feels bad. So you kind of want to make sure that when you do push up, as you said, it's sort of an ideal time to push up, and you can ensure that your stack will stay on board, and you can push for that game turn next time.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time too, like when it hits, it hits. I mean, Wargrey still can be very, very strong. It's just a matter of making sure you can make it like a consistently strong deck.
Yeah. Wargrey still just does Wargrey things.
Which arguably, like, over the past couple sets, we have gotten some support for it. You know, maybe not necessarily consistency, but, you know, the Agu is great. You know, it basically just replaces the old promo Agu. You've got your trainings now, which do help with a little bit of consistency and search. The ties are still huge gas for the deck. Being able to make your evos a lot cheaper can be helpful. So if you can find your pieces, I mean, the deck has all the right things in place to make it really go burr.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go Agu X outside, mainly just to kind of dig and find pieces. Does pick up the Greymon from BT-12. And we see Cooper respond with a training. Goes into the typical X-Antibody play of Digivolve into an X-Antibody to pick up your regular one. Speaking of... Oh, Jesus. Speaking of X-Antibody. God damn. Pick up a Gray X. Off of the Agu search. That's one Hades gone for Coop, unfortunately. And then we see Justin start to do stack things, which is just start building a line going into the Greymon X. That's limited to 1.
Drop a tie, give blocker to the Agu and plus 1k. So that's pretty good.
Ooh.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Goes ahead, swings, 1 check at 7. Does end up living.
Yeah.
And then drops the Greymon for 2 to choke to 1. So, okay.
Okay. Good play.
Especially if he's got another Gray X in hand. That's honestly not a bad play.
Is this an early push-up?
I wonder. So we go into the Metal Gray for 1 because of the Greymon X effect. Taps tie to keep it at 1 memory, so essentially a free Evo. Goes into Metal Gray X.
Yeah, so stack plus 1. So he's big numbers. Got plus 2, plus 1, plus 1, plus 3.
So he's big. Swings for 2 checks with piercing, so pierces through the Gray X. Does hit a tie. Oh god. It's another tie insecurity with the Agu. And then goes into the Raid Wargrey, which does have reboot and block. Not blocker, because there's no tie.
No, there's a tie.
There is a tie.
He dropped. Yeah, he dropped the tie.
Yeah.
So it's reboot blocker. So it is big. Okay, Coop goes up. I think that was a bit of an early push up. I understand the mental of wanting to get rid of that body there, but I think we're about to see a big punish. Yeah. So Ultras clear the body board there. Go Metal Gray X. So I think Cooper almost wanted to maybe bait him by going into the Greymon X out there on the board to try and just say like, hey, I'm building up a stack out here. You need to answer me.
Definitely could have been.
And so he's gonna be bigger than that.
Oh god. Here we go.
Okay, side
X-Antibody underneath. You can easily go into Wargrey and then Digivolve into Wargrey X on the swing to pop the body. Does not have protections because there's no X-Antibody underneath.
12 though.
Yeah.
It's missing 3k. Okay, so Ops just let it go through. There's like Crystal Blaze attempts to pop the Wargrey stack, which he does not have protections on it because he doesn't have X-Antibody and sources.
So Coop here now is in a very good spot. You know, obviously Omni would be nice, but you could easily just say, just choke and set up for game next turn.
He's 15, 16, 17.
He has a big number this turn. And even
oh, but I guess he loses the DP boost on his turn, so he'd be 15, 18.
Like Justin's best play is to just hope and pray at this point. Because he could have dropped the Hades, but the Hades, I think, doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Swings, and there it is. That's game 2. Coop takes it. All right. This is an interesting mirror because I feel like you can go from 0 to 60 very, very fast. What's up?
Was Justin less DP than him? Justin had...
He was the 12k. He was the BT-12 Wargrey, right? So that would have been plus 3k.
He had plus 3 from Metal Grey X.
So he's 18.
And then he had plus 1 from a Greymon inheritable and plus 1 from a tie, so he's 20. And then Cooper
would have been...
Had plus 3 from Metal Grey X. Plus 1 from the tie. And he didn't have any other inheritables that gave him... more? 15, 16. I think he had one other 1k inheritable, so he was 17. I don't think he should have been able to pop it off of the swing. Unless I'm missing something.
Let us know in the comments below if we're missing something.
I think DP wise, I think Justin's stack still should have been bigger.
Maybe.
By like 2k.
Well,
I don't know. Anyways,
they do move on to game 3.
Yeah.
As I was saying though, I mean, I think this is a pretty interesting mirror in the sense that like you go from 0 to 60 almost immediately. Like you go one turn from just kind of being patient building to all of a sudden you're going like full gas. Like I'm a 20k body swinging for 4 or 5 checks. It's so scary. It almost makes you feel like you're on a time bomb. Interesting. So we see Coop push up with the Agu.
Does not have a tie in play though to do the free Greymon Evo.
But I mean, you would still need... Oh, okay. So it does swing and then ends up just hard dropping the tie for 3. Justin plays a training just for additional search, picks up the memory setter tie, and here he just goes into a Greymon in the back to keep building up the line, which is fair. Coop goes into another Agu, then goes into the starter deck Greymon for check +1. And goes into the Grey X. Sorry for the glare. This is the BT-9 Grey X. And just kind of debating where to go next.
I think it looks like he's missing the BT-12 metal. Or is that BT-12 metal Grey?
That is BT-12 metal Grey, yeah.
Okay.
And then Justin responds by dropping a memory setter tie, choking Coop to 1 for now. Then drops the Agumon to search. Can't pick up the Metal Grey X, which I think is clutch for Coop.
Yeah, is what he's gonna grab.
All right, so I mean, I think Cooper's in a pretty good spot here. Yeah, you just chill and wait for your right pieces.
You let that rookie just sort of do its thing on board. You now kind of have the turn advantage in terms of like being able to respond to if Justin plays out a rookie or not. Just drops another tie. That's a lot of security checks.
Yeah. He can go up the line for sure.
Yeah.
We see Coop go into the BT-5 Greymon essentially for free because of the tie and it's inheritable. Then goes into Grey X, sort of what you're like illustrating what you were saying before, right? Which is like you kind of build your main stack in the back. You can start building a second one out in battle. And if you can get some damage in with that, great, you know, and see what you can do. Because this just makes going for game that much easier for Coop. Because I mean, you look at the Greymon. security check Greymon in the back, and then if you go into like the X-Antibody, that Greymon stack that's in raising could potentially swing for. We're looking at like 3 checks potentially. You go into like your WarGrey, which could do more damage, you know, and you have this stack already in raising here, or already out in the battlefield. So you're doing a heavy amount of damage.
Does play the training. I wonder if it was worth to use the training there.
Yeah.
Google Metal Gray X. So he's really committing to this line out here. Oh. We'll swing for okay. 2
Honestly,
checks, clears up both the ties. That's not bad.
Fair.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
It does give Justin a lot of memory. He can't do his restand shenanigans because the Metal Gray X is suspended. And because he lost so many security checks, I don't think he can game Coop this turn. And now Coop can just try and punish with the other stack.
Right. He played the game of like he's setting up a stack that's already pretty aggressive while having the direct answer to whatever Justin can do in the back and raising, which is a very solid play. Yeah,
it was very, very clever. It looks like Justin's maybe kind of stuck, or he's really considering what he wants to do. He doesn't have the DP to swing over that Metal Gray X. The Metal Gray X right now is currently sitting at what, 11, 12, 13k?
13.
Because of the tie.
So you do see the Metal Gray X play come out.
Yep. Which he has +2, 1, 1, so +4, +3, so 15, 16k.
Man, you know, I understand and I agree in that BT9 Metal Gray X is probably the better Metal Gray X right now, but I'm always going to be a bit biased towards BT11 Metal Gray X. Like, that card, I don't know. That and the Black War engine, I've always been a bit more partial to.
I think they're cooler. They're just worse right now.
Yeah.
They're too expensive, and they don't do enough for how much they cost.
Agreed. But the inheritable to trash a card was so nasty.
Yeah. He goes WarGrey, gets plus another 3k.
Responds with his own Hades.
So he's gonna clear.
Does clear the tie, but Coop does shed 2 sources to keep the stack alive. And then Justin's going into security here for 2 checks. It's a Metal Gray and a Gray X and passes over. Alright, so Coop's got an established body on board. Won't have any additional security checks, but like is still decent with the Metal Gray.
Wonder why I didn't swing through the Metal Gray.
But I'm wondering too.
Because Hades doesn't say you have to attack a player, right? Hades is just your Digimon attacks.
You may attack, correct. So you could, in theory, just swing.
Oh, I know. Then one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name may attack a player.
Oh.
So, never mind. You have to swing at a player. You can't swing at the body.
I stand corrected. All right, so Coop decides to keep the stack in the back. Goes into the BT-12 Raid WarGrey, which right now is sitting at 15k. And then
16 with the Agu.
16 with
but
the
then
Agu,
Hades
and then
forces.
Hades. Okay. Double Hades,
was,
back to back.
I was like, what the hell are these games?
What is going on?
This is just the Hades force response.
But I mean, Hades is still a good card.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Any card that has Tamer control.
Because I mean, at this point, I mean, like,
is pretty good.
Unless Justin can climb up a line and find a way to respond with another Hades, there's not a whole lot he can do.
Yeah, he needs to establish another blocker at the very least.
Right. Does pick up the Raid WarGrey.
Yeah.
Does have a training and a tie that's still live, so he has the potential to do stuff. It's just a matter if he can see the right pieces. Goes into the Greymon, technically for 1, taps the tie to gain it back.
Yep.
Not bad. Does crack the training here, so it is missing the Gray X, but goes into the Metal Gray for 1. And now can go into Alterius for free.
Yeah, so it goes Alterus. And then, does he have Metal Gray X? Or is he missing that? Looks like he might be missing that.
Looks like it. He's used, I think he's revealed and used a decent amount already. So it does go into the Raid WarGrey, which is now sitting at 15, 16, 18k, then 19k, 20k blocker.
Interesting that he didn't opt to swing over
Into it.
Oh, it just played.
Yeah.
That's why. He dropped it that turn. I forgot.
So
sets up the blocker.
If Coop can do something about that big Wargrave, then he can go for game. But 20k blocker is a bit hard to overcome right now.
Does have protections. We'll go Wargrey X for 1 here.
Interesting. Because the Wargrey X is not buffed by any means. He's just getting the buff from the Agu right now. So he's potentially swinging for 13k. We'll decide to block.
Freestand.
And then drops a tie. I think maybe Coop's thought was just a choke. Yeah. Choke to 1 and then drop a tie.
The only other thing I could think he's missing is that he's missing
top end.
a Metal Gray and a BT-12 Wargrey.
Yeah. So at this point, I think that's probably the smartest play. You know, Justin doesn't look like he's threatening game, at least yet. And you know that there's going to be some hesitation to swinging with the Wargrey because you do want a blocker on board.
Yeah, and no longer has reboot.
You're right. So at this point, I think Coop's just sort of playing the game of like, look, like I don't have the optimal like kill turn. Let me just try to find my pieces, wait until it's the right moment to push up, and go from there.
I do think that it's probably just safer. Okay, so he will swing.
Oh,
it's a training. It's a lot of gas.
Then goes Greymon to choke to 1.
Yeah, but that training
so now
sort of.
Coop immediately immediately pushed up.
Yeah.
Went onto Metal Gray X, so is now going to be numbers.
I'm pretty sure we saw he has the Blitz Omni in hand as well. So all he has to do is just swing through security, and then Blitz Omni for game.
Yeah, cracks the train into WarGrey X.
Keeps turn.
And I think he's asking how big he is right now, so he's just gonna go ahead swing
through it with piercing.
And then he's got Blitz Omni. Maybe.
Case memory.
Oh.
No, just drops the Agu. Does not have Blitz Omni.
Okay, so there is potential for Justin to clap back here. Because as we saw, the tie does gain 2 memory going into the BT-9 Gray X, so it goes up to 4. Oh, ouch. Is missing pieces. Goes Agu X to search. And
still not seeing
This is the problem that most decks with Greymon run into. Is just don't.
No Metal Gray.
Hades to pop the Tamers. And swings and hits a tie. Oh no. And I think here he just concedes.
Justin concedes there. I don't think there's anything he can do.
Jeez.
That was a good game though. Those were really good games. Good back and forth. Good responses. As you can see, like both players definitely feeling each other out for the first 2 games. And that third game, it's just like they were both dialed in and did what they could.
Yeah, I agree. And I think sort of, again, not to kind of hammer that point to oblivion, but like you said, like Greymon is really about just pure OTK, right? Which is like, wait for your time to go. You don't want to go too early. You don't want to go too late. You just have to wait for the right opportune moment and go for it. I think both players did a really good job, and we saw that. We saw them try to feel that out, and then there's a good dialogue of back and forth between the two and trying to counter that OTK play, or at least stall out that OTK play. So yeah, pretty good matches. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Hopefully we'll see you in our Discord if you check it out, and we'll catch you on that flippy flip. Bye bye.